schools that are on the program improvement list. The forum be convened on Saturday, December 9th, 2006, and participants shall include principals and other appropriate administrators, teachers, education professors from local colleges and universities, leaders from the Teachers Association, and parents. Final approval of the forum agenda remain with the Board of Education. Teachers and parents from the 14 current program improvement schools shall be given a copy of this agenda item and an invitation to the forum, but the forum should be held open to all interested community members. And that's also supported by Dr. David Barton. Thank you for that, Dr. Barton. Do I hear a motion? Been moved. Second. And seconded. Discussion.
I'd like to discuss the motion really quickly, if I may. And again, in the interest of providing context for folks, I'd like to read your background. Instead of being briefed by the superintendent, the Long Beach Unified School District Board of Education had to find out from the local newspaper, our Kevin Butler here in the front row, that our district recently suffered a 40% increase in the amount of schools that are being targeted for intervention under the federal No Child Left Behind Act. As a school board, we need to stop pretending that everything is okay and instead begin to focus on real issues where our intervention and attention is warranted. Now, at the board workshops, we were given data that covered pretty much the entire gamut of how schools were doing, and there was some incomplete data that was yet to come in. But in my view, when we go from 10 to 14 schools that are targeted for federal intervention, that should have been the headline of the board workshop and the major topic of discussion when we were going over the scores and where our schools are at in terms of standardized testing. So I believe that we need to address this issue head on, and we start out by having a forum where we bring in all the stakeholders and community members and all the people who have a vested interest, which is just about all of us, in seeing our schools perform adequately and, in fact, at an excellent level. So I think this will be a very helpful, reflective event that will focus our attention on how we can bring these schools up out of being targeted for federal intervention.
I'd like to call on our superintendent to update everyone in terms of what we're already doing in that regard.
Yes. I have copies, not enough for everybody in the audience, but for about 40 people, so they can just take those. Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. What I'd like to first talk about is just an overview of what program improvement is, and then I've asked James Bullock to go over some documentation, some data that's here. It has been our past practice for many years not to give the Board of Education the final list of program improvement schools until the November workshop, because our district is one of the few districts in the state of California that has a very unique testing schedule. As Mr. Ellis said, that when we presented the data, and we've always presented data in two forms. One, the data that we have in August, which is always incomplete because we have approximately 20 year-round schools, which are reading out about 15 to 20,000 test scores. And then we have complete data in September, and the state notifies those schools which are program improvements, and then we bring that data to the board in November. The state of California is required by law, though, by the federal government, to post the program improvement data on the web by August 31st. So if a school has incomplete data, which a lot of our schools do, then they can be targeted as program improvement, and and that's why we don't give out data so that we say the school district is or is not, a school is or is not in program improvement. One such school was Burnett. Burnett was a pension school that is not a school that's in program improvement. The other piece is that schools are put in program improvement for a variety of reasons. There are, for example, the school district has also identified whether it meets its targets or not. We have 46 sub-targets. Every district has approximately 46 sub-targets. If you miss the target in any one of those subgroups, the same target 2 years in a row, you're in program improvement as a school district. The same is for school. If you miss the target 2 years in a row, you're in program improvement. The rules change on a regular basis. For example, it used to be in special ed, you can have modifications and accommodations. When law changed, and you can no longer have accommodations, and I'll have Dr. Bellak speak about that later. But they count against your participation rate. So I would like, before I go on further about the program improvement status of our schools, I'd like Dr. Gulak to go over this chart, because I think it's important for people to understand that where we rank in comparison to other, what we call the Big Ten in this district, because the teachers, the parents, the principals, and the staff members of this school system have worked tirelessly over the last 15 years to improve achievement. And for those who are unfamiliar with Title I, the new No Child Left Behind Act says that by 2013, every single student in every single school in the state of California, well, in the nation for that matter, must be proficient in every subject that's tested. That means that students in Los Alamitos and Long Beach, every place, every single student. So if one student in 2013 is not proficient, that school will be a program improvement school. Well, people don't like us to say this, but I'm going to say it. No school is going to make that target. None of them are going to make that target. Someone is going to miss that target. We have kids who have been accepted into Ivy League schools who on the CST have been identified basic. So there's a huge problem with the law itself as written. So I think we have to be very careful when we look at this data. But I do want Dr. Gulak to go over how we compare to the school districts.
First of all, I want to clarify that the data has been released as of this Friday, and it's still being updated as we speak because there's some demographic information that was missing on some of the exams that we have now time to go back and refill this information. So this information might change again until we have the final count of all the students, that with all the information that's complete, which will be sometime in February actually, that's when it will be final for this past year. So this document is still evolving. It's not final, but it's current as of this Friday that we actually have 17 schools in program improvement, not 14. We have 3 more schools in the list, so to speak. But in California, the state standards are extremely high compared to other states. They're very rigorous, and the expectations are very high for our students to meet that target. So what happens is by design, each year, more and more schools will be on the program improvement list, so to speak. However, when we look at Long Beach, how do we compare to the large districts that we always look at ourselves and compare ourselves to this district like the challenge that they face like we do. We had 17 schools, a total of 90 schools out of 90 schools that made about 19% of our overall population that did not meet the AYP targets, and they became program improvement. And that number was 12%, which was about 11 schools the year before. And that number puts us actually on the number 2 district among the 10 largest districts in California. The number 1 was Garden Grove. They had 2 schools in program improvement the year before in 2005, and they went to 4. So they actually had 100% increase in their program improvement schools, as if you look at relative numbers. But overall, they had 4 schools, which was about 6% of their overall number of schools in the program improvement. Then the next, our closest follower, which was number 3, was San Diego. They had 209 schools in total for AYP account purposes, and their 111 schools actually met